Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Greer and it's lovely to have you here with me today. I've mentioned in previous videos that one of my hobbies is reading. I love reading, I spend so much time doing it, and it's been that way ever since I was a child. However, there have been periods of time where I just needed some inspiration for what book to read next, and even instances where I would get so burnt out by one specific genre or the same tropes over and over again. And I'm sure if you're a reader, you've experienced that as well. I've come across some very useful websites that have helped me to discover great new reads, and today I want to share 5 of those sites with you. They're all absolutely free to use, and I'm going to make sure to have them linked in the description, so be sure to check there. So let's jump right in. The first website we're going to be taking a look at is Recommend Me a Book, and as you can see, I have it pulled up here on the screen. I'm sure you've heard the saying that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and this website allows you to put that into practice. Essentially, it gives you the first page of a random book, and you can read through that page and then decide if you like what you've read so far. You could reveal the title and author. If you don't like it, you can simply skip to the next recommendation. So let's look at the book that we have here, the first page. It starts off, "The first time I got drunk was on Elijah's wine." Okay, that instantly pulls me in. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and continue reading, but I just want to see what is this book. So you can click reveal title and author. And as you can see, it pulls up the information. So this is a field guide to getting lost by Rebecca Solnit. You have the cover art here. If I click the settings icon in the bottom right corner, you can see it takes me to these settings. So we can actually narrow our search down based on genres. So let's click on choose genre, and I actually am interested in reading more science fiction because I haven't really read a lot of science fiction lately, but I do want to get back into it. So let me click on science fiction, and as you can see, that has been selected and I can save. There's also a search feature that allows you to search for specific books. Let's say that someone has recommended a book to you, or you've heard about a book somewhere, you could simply search for that. So one that I have been recommended is The Three-Body Problem. So let's see if that comes up. And yeah, you can see it's right here, The Three-Body Problem. So if I wanted to buy this book, I could click on bookshop, and it actually takes me to the bookstore that is associated with this website. So the next website we're going to be taking a look at is What Should I Read Next? Let's say that there's a book you've read that you absolutely enjoyed, and you say to yourself, I want to read more books like this. This website will allow you to input the name of that book or of that author and find similar books. The second way you can discover new recommendations is with their category. So as you can see, we have popular subjects and these different categories. You can go ahead and click one of these and you can see the top recommendations that they give for each of these categories. So let's try that first method. One book that I read recently that I really enjoyed that was sort of different from anything I'd ever read before was Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. Let's enter that book and see what we come up with. So as you can see, it pulls the book up, and you can see it has these different categories here. So I'm assuming that it uses these categories and these tags to filter recommendations for you. The first one is The Reach of a Chef Beyond the Kitchen by Michael Ruhlman. So if I wanted more information or I wanted to buy this book, I could click on the link, and this takes you to Amazon, so you can buy the book there if you wanted to. So let's try the second method, which is choosing one of these categories, and I think we're going to go with fantasy fiction. So let's click on that and see where it takes us. So we have the Harry Potter books, we have The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, The Time Traveler's Wife. So you could scroll through here and take your pick. So this next website, I think, is one of the most intricate in terms of fine-tuning your search for new book recommendations, and you'll see why. So here we are on the landing page, and you can see that it's telling us we can actually discover our next great read using 4 different types of criteria. The first is mood and emotion, the second is world map, the third is character and plot, and the fourth is bestsellers. The first one we're going to be looking at is books by mood and emotion. So as you can see, you've got some moods and emotions here on the side, and you can select up to 4 different sliders. So let me see. I want to read something that is on the happier side, something that is, let's say, a bit unpredictable. Maybe we want something that is slightly unusual, and I actually, let's choose something that is shorter in length. So you probably saw that as I moved the sliders, the titles were changing on the right hand side. And this is the final list that I have been given based on my criteria that I selected here on the left. So we can see if I click on the first one, it says that this is a good match, and it's called Some New Ambush by Karis Davies. So you can read the synopsis of the book, you can actually read an extract from the book to get an idea of how it's written, and you can also see other books with which this one draws parallels. If I wanted to, I could click borrow this book. If you're in the UK, you could select a region. I'm not in the UK, so I am going to click on that. So that takes us to worldcat.org, where I can see, based on my location, what is the closest library that has this book in stock. And then if I go back here, I could also click on buy this book, and this actually takes me to Amazon. The next way we can search for books is by world map, and we can decide, hey, I want to read a book that is set in this specific geographic location. So I'm actually going to go to Africa, and one of the countries that I really want to visit is Ethiopia. I think that one of the best ways to get to know a country is reading literature that is set there. So let's select Ethiopia. So if we click on this first one, you can see that this is actually mainly set in Ethiopia. And if we click, let's say, My Soul to Keep, you'll see that this one has it as its second setting. We can also search by character and plot. So you can say, hey, I want to read books with characters who are this race, are in this age range, this sexuality, this gender, and you can choose the plot that you're trying to read as well. So let's do one really quickly. So as you can see, based on the selection that I just did, we have 2 books that are recommended to us. So the final way we can discover new books on this site is through bestsellers. So if you've read a book that's a bestseller, let's say that you have read Book Lovers by Emily Henry, you can actually click on that and then see books that are similar to Book Lovers. So that is also a great way to find new books. The next site we're going to look at is Fivebooks.com. Now, Fivebooks is a publication that gives you the 5 best books on any given topic, as recommended by experts on that topic. But it doesn't stop there. Each expert is actually interviewed about their selections, and you can actually read that interview once you go to the list. So let's see what I mean when I say that. Okay, so I'm actually interested in learning a bit more about philosophy. So let's click on nonfiction, and let's say that we go into ancient philosophy. And as you can see, that takes us to this page where we have the most recommended ancient philosophy books. We have a section here that just gives us an intro into ancient philosophy, and they also highlight some of the lists that we're about to see. So as you can see, we have the best books on Neoplatonism, the best books on Stoicism, the best books on the Epicureans. I'm actually interested in learning a bit more about Stoicism, so why don't we check this out? And these books have been recommended by Massimo Pigliucci, I think that's how you pronounce his name. So once we click on that, we are taken to this page. So we can learn a bit more about the expert who has recommended this book, Mr. Pigliucci. He is a professor of philosophy at the City College of New York, and he has actually written a book called A Field Guide to a Happy Life. So that's an interesting thing to note. These are the books he has recommended. And if we scroll further, we can see that this is the interview. So he was interviewed about each selection that he made for this list. So I think, just reading this interview is a great way to build context for these recommendations that you have here. The final website that we're going to be looking at is Melanin Library. This is an online library that has been curated to bring exposure to books by Black authors and that feature Black and brown characters. So as you can see, again, we're on the landing page. Welcome to the Melanin Library. We can enter the library or we can get a random book recommendation. So why don't we enter the library? As you can see, we have different categories. There's romance, sci-fi and fantasy, young adult, children's. You can also search for a specific book. There is a section called Melanin Spotlight, new releases. There's also another section for that. And this section is called I don't know what to read. So if we click on what is this, it says this section is for anyone who doesn't know what they're looking for. 10 books are selected at random to showcase. Who knows, something might pique your interest. So why don't we take a look at one of the new releases? This one looks interesting. It's called And Other Mistakes by Erica Turner. So it's a coming of age book. It's also about family. It's considered a young adult book, and it gives you the release date as well. And so of course you can go ahead and read the synopsis. We can choose books based on age range. We can also select specific genres. So we have so many different genres, from anthologies to classics to contemporary and drama. I think I'm interested in reading some let's do classics. So we have some of the people that we should all know: Audre Lorde, Toni Morrison, we have Zora Neale Hurston, we have Langston Hughes, Nella Larson. I really like what this site is doing, not just in exposing you to great works by Black authors, but showing you that there is multi-dimensionality in our stories. It's not just about those tropes and those stereotypes, but we exist in all these different spaces. We exist in all these different forms, and I really enjoy that this site focuses on promoting that reality. So those are 5 websites that I think are essential for anyone who's looking to discover great new reads. If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and comment to let me know if there are any resources that you use for discovering new books. I would love to hear those, as always, down in the comment section. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.